Hi, it's Kim again. Today we're going to show a shortcut that I've discovered for planting a Hypertufa pot real quickly. It's using those sedum mats or sedum sod portions that you've seen in the garden centers. You can just use those to cut up and place into pots and make a mat very quickly. Let me show you how we did it. Now here we are, this is showing the tile itself. It's about an inch thick of soil with the cocoa fiber mat under there and a little tiny bit of that netting. But the sedum is very tightly packed in there with many varieties. You can see right there in the middle a lot of the coral carpet that I just love. Now this is that fiber mat you can see on the bottom. Kind of holds it together. If you want to wedge it in with that, you can. Now I prefer to peel it off. This is what that matting looks like when you peel it off. Now here is some of the varieties. You can see the immigruntian in there. That'll have yellow flowers later. Some of the coral carpet. Now I'm speeding up here where we're prepping up one of our planters, the cloverleaf planter. I've just cut strips of the mat itself so that we can plant this real easily and pull that fiber mat off the back. But what I'm going to do is just kind of cut it in thirds and put a portion in each of these clover leaf areas. You can see how easy it is to cut with a pair of strong, I'm using the kitchen shears there, but you can just cut it apart and press it into each of the areas. Now you may want to get particular about your varieties and keep, say, one variety in one area, another variety in another area, but I really like the mixture of these. They're just so gorgeous. It makes a very lush planting. Quite a bit like what some of my favorite planters are. So just see if that's what you would like to have. And again, it makes you have a planter right away. You don't really have to wait for it to grow lushly, other than just the day or two while it gets settled in and all the little faces turn up to face the sun. Tiny little beads of coral carpet in there. Love that. And the immigruntian. And a lot of these have buds already and are waiting to bloom in shortly. Now if you have any little strays that fall out or get snipped, we all know succulents. Just place them back on the soil and they will root and they will grow. No problem at all. Just sprinkle them back on the sand. On the soil. If I even have some of those coral carpet beads, I just sprinkle them on the soil also because they'll just take root. I have a lot that have fallen onto the flower beds and they're growing now. Within, I'd say, a couple weeks, they're growing across the soil. Here's the last section of this one, all pressed in nice and tight so it really gets a firm adherence to the soil itself. But this does work out just fine. I think I'm going to have a lot of little babies where I've torn up the mat and everything. There are so many tiny little pieces, but I will harvest every one of those pieces and start my own little collection. A lot of blue spruce right there, and that blue spruce looks like it's starting to send one of its shoots sky high. That'll bloom with some yellow flowers. Now what I usually do when I have finished with one of these planters and you've kind of got soil and a mess all over the place, you can just use an old paintbrush. I've got one in the potting shed so that I can just kind of brush the edges and clean a lot of the dirt off. It just makes for a nice, neat planter, especially after you've rummaged in the soil and kind of made a mess of it. Now, in this case today, I am going to water the plants. However, it's not necessary. If your soil is fairly moist or fresh, then you don't need to water it because the succulents may even do better if you don't. But my soil was left over from last year and it's very, very dry. So I wanted to at least give them a short little drink to kind of help them get settled in. Now there's another tile that I bought, and I'm planning on doing the same thing and enhancing a lot of some of the pots that I have with little bare spots. But you can read all about that in the post. The post will be referenced here on the link here below the video. So check that out for me. Be sure to visit the blog, subscribe to my monthly newsletter, and we'll do a lot of these kind of projects. So that one is just fine. Got several more clover leaves that we're going to do also. Now here's one more oval planter that I have. Kind of got it speeded up since the video is taking long. Now when you cut your strips here, be careful. Watch, don't cut yourself. Save all your small pieces. Just like I said, you can root those. Look at all those little tiny pieces I've dropped into the tray. Every one of those will grow into a whole new plant. I'll save every piece that I can. Now these two sections should fill up this one. I'll just press them real firmly into the soil. I kept the three or four little tall features there in the center. Put a few of the little extras in so it'll fill out nicely, and I think we're good to go. It looks like a tiny little blue spruce curl. Must have been from one of the leaves dropping down, and it's trying to sprout. Look at that bloom already on the Immergrunchen. Again, all those tiny pieces I will save. Now I hope you see how you can quickly get a full-grown planter, a very lush looking planter that you might want to use as a gift for somebody. These sheets that I found, Sedum Sod mats, were $20, 10 inches by 20 inches roughly, and they certainly do make a lot of plugs for your planters. Be sure to look for ones with a lot of variety. Some of them are better than others as far as a big variety of the plants in them. But I love the ones with the Sedum tricolor. I've got a lot of Angelina already, but always glad to have more of that. I've seen the John Creech, which will be pink blooms in the summer. There's the Russian one, the Kamchaticum variegatum in this one. Beautiful plant. Well, Well, thanks for joining me today. My daughter and I had a good time showing you how we've planted these up quickly. And join us again. Again, thanks for watching.